In a nutshell, our currency is created in a privately owned, debt-based monetary system, and it only comes into being when credit is created out of nothing, and producing a corresponding debt. This is how it works. You walk into a bank, and you borrow $350,000 for a new house. You sign a contract to pay it back with interest. The bank makes a mark on the bank's ledger, and voila, boom, $350,000 exists where it didn't exist a minute earlier. Literally, the bank creates new currency out of thin air, but you, the borrower, have to work, with your time and freedom, to repay the currency the bank created out of thin air and loaned it to you, plus work to repay the interest they are charging you. The bank owners don't have to work for their money, but you do, and if you fail, they take your house, and when they take your house, they are literally getting a real asset for themselves literally out of thin air. They exchanged totally made-up currency for a real house. They gave you digital records and took a real house from you, without working. It is a fantastic deal for them, free money for them, blood and sweat money for you. Furthermore, when the bank creates that currency for you, it only creates the principal, not the interest. When a nation's money is debt-based, with interest, someone always comes out the loser because there is never enough money in circulation to repay the interest. Think about it. A bank gives you a loan for $100, and they charge you 5% interest. That means you have to pay the bank $105, whereas they only loaned you $100. That sounds fair, except for the fact that they did not create the $5 they are asking you for as interest. That is why there is much more debt in the world than there is currency. Almost every nation in the world has a lot more debt than it has currency, and because debt has interest that makes it grow every year, the debt keeps growing. Thus, the debt can never be fully repaid, it can only grow. A percentage of the people would never be able to repay their loans even if they could, simply because there isn't enough currency that exists to pay the debt interest. No one makes the currency needed to pay the interest, they only make the currency of the principal. This means that some people will always be forced to sell their assets to the lenders for pennies on the dollar. And this also means that everyone loses purchasing power over time, everyone except the currency issuers. That is how wealth and power transfers from the masses to the currency system owners. This is why bank owners grow richer even as the masses grow poorer. It is built into the system. It is there by design. It is the absolutely unavoidable result of privately owned banks issuing debt-based currency. You cannot fix it to work any differently. And now we get to another myth. Most people think that the government issues currency. Nothing could be further from the truth. The government only endorses and guarantees currency. It is private banks that create and issue the currency. The central bank of any country issues treasury bills and bonds, debt instruments. It is the private banks that then take these bills and bonds and use them to issue currency to the masses. The government merely guarantees the debt, but the people, the masses, repay the debt. And so the private banks are in effect loaning all currency to the people. That is why it is called debt-based currency. Whether or not you have any outstanding loans, as long as you use any of today's currencies, you are using a debt-based currency. You do not have to have a loan to be indebted to the banks. Simply using the currency makes you indebted, through the system itself. The system itself is debt-based.
I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, then first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around these banks will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. The issuing power of currency should be taken from the banks and restored to the people, to whom it properly belongs. It is well enough that people of the nation do not understand our banking and monetary system, for if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning.
Not all monetary systems are the same. Some uplift and bless, and some actually kill. And to understand where money comes from, you must understand that, first, there is a difference between wealth and money. Secondly, money must represent both of two things, a something, and a someone. Let's take a look. Wealth comes from people and nature. Money comes from monetary systems. To make enough money to enjoy sufficiency and safeguard your true wealth, which is your time, health and freedom, you first need to understand where money comes from. And to understand where money comes from, You must understand that money must represent these two things. 1. A something, and 2. A someone. If you work under a monetary system that represents the wrong something and the wrong someone, you will actually experience slavery and scarcity, not wealth and freedom. There are several types of monetary systems that can be created to serve various someones and issue various somethings, as follows. The someone. The monetary system can be owned and controlled by either one of these someones. The monetary system can be owned and controlled by a government and its public population. An example of such a currency was the former Libyan dinar. The monetary system can be owned and controlled by a private monopoly of individuals. An example of such a currency is most of our currencies today, most notably the US dollar. The Federal Reserve is not a government bank. The monetary system can be decentralized and autonomous and therefore owned and controlled by no one. An example of such a currency is Bitcoin, the something. The monetary system can issue either one of these three. The monetary system can issue debt-based currency, such as the US dollar and most other currencies today. The monetary system can issue asset-based money, such as long ago when currency was fully backed by gold and silver equivalents, meaning if you returned your currency to the bank would give you its gold or silver equivalent, on the spot, physically. Or the monetary system can issue productivity-based receipts, such as Bitcoin today, and Hitler's monetary system that allowed Germany to end its economic troubles at the time.
So now, knowing this, we can see two obvious facts emerge. First, the optimal currency for society must be owned either by the public itself and not private banks, or owned by no one, meaning it is decentralized and autonomous. This is the only way to prevent private elites enslaving the masses through privately owned currency issuing banks. The right someone is publicly owned, or even better, decentralized and autonomous. The wrong someone is private banks owning the world's currency issuing systems and rights. Secondly, the optimal currency for society must be based on either real assets such as gold and silver, or on productivity receipts, such as Bitcoin. That is the right something to base a currency on. Debt-free. The worst something to back a currency on is debt. That only creates enslavement, and splits society into the haves and the have-nots, into the elites and the workers, the rulers and the serfs. Debt-based currency is poison to society, and so now begin to see that in a system where the public or the autonomous decentralized network itself owns the issuance of asset-based or productivity-based money, 98% of the population can achieve true freedom, sufficiency and abundance. The someone is the public or the network, and the something is assets or productivity. However, this is not the system the world is currently using. The world is currently on, believe it or not, predominantly debt-based currency, issued by privately owned banks. Under this system, 98% of people on the planet can never truly be free, no matter how hard they try, because the someone is a private monopoly, and the something is debt. That is the root cause of the financial trouble the world is in now. And now, we begin to unravel the puzzle. The current financial system is known in certain circles as the Babylonian money magic slave system. It is the system where 1. Private bankers give you and the public worthless paper, currency based on debt. 2. They give you this currency in exchange for your real wealth, which is your time, freedom and hard assets. 3. And they set it up legally and structurally so that it is the only way to live. They enforce it so you believe there is no alternative, and if you try to change it, they persecute you. 4. And then they confuse and deceive you so you completely forget there are many other healthy, abundant and liberating ways to live. But as we have just seen, there are many, many other better ways to healthy, abundant and liberating living. The current system is actually a system of governance, enslavement of the masses. It rapes the earth and enslaves its people. It is not a system of creating true abundance. Banking is necessary. Banks are not. We need banking, but we don't need banks anymore. Banks are dinosaurs. They can be bypassed.
A monetary system is what happens when planets are enslaved. There is nothing wrong with money, per se. It can be a great medium of exchange in the right hands, or a tool of control in the wrong hands. Nevertheless, money is not the source of wealth. You are source. Yes, you are a creator being, and through your beliefs, your thoughts and emotions, you call forth any reality required, from the abundance of life itself. You literally manifest your entire day out of thin air. You are made in the image and likeness of the Creator. You are source. If that is a true statement, why are so many people living in poverty? Is it possible we are a slave planet, and we don't even know it? Consider this. Many planets apparently follow this evolutionary model. Stage 1. A fresh planet has new beings living in decentralized groups, with no hierarchies or networks, just like we did a few thousand years ago. Hunter-gatherers, and so on. Simple tribes, evolving.
Stage 2. At some point, these groups are unified, centralized, and hierarchies form. An elite and non-elite structure comes up. Tools of governance and trade are created. Monetary systems are such a tool, created both for trade, but even more importantly, for control and governance. Monetary systems are as much a governance tool as they are an exchange tool. Money by itself is just an exchange tool, with no governance built in, pure exchange. But once it is set up as a privately owned debt-based monetary system, it becomes a governance and control tool. That is the difference. At some point in the past, people used gold, silver, cowrie shells, and so on, as money. No private entity owned that type of money, and it was not based on debt, either. It was for pure exchange. It was decentralized, autonomous money, meaning no central authority owned its issuance. If you had gold, silver or cowrie shells, from wherever you got them, you had money. That money was not branded or owned by a central authority. Gold is gold, silver is silver, shells are shells. No one has a monopoly in creating them. There is no Federal Reserve of shells with exclusive rights to make shells for the whole world. And so money of that type was a simple medium of exchange. At some point, someone got rid of that decentralized, autonomous system, and introduced their own brand of money, a privately owned debt-based monetary system, a centralized, proprietary monetary system. That is when money became a governance and control tool. The slave planet stage had arrived. On Earth, this system is primarily owned and controlled worldwide by the US Federal Reserve, upon which most other currencies are pegged, and Earth is not the only planet to enter this stage.
Stage 3. Now, over time, as consciousness evolves, it reaches a point where it outgrows these earlier structures. Its population awakens. They start to have a new self-view and a new worldview. They achieve new understandings. It becomes a graduate planet, society decentralized again, but on a higher level of understanding. They achieve unity within diversity, and they achieve unity with the planet itself. With this new consciousness, everything changes. One of the things that change is that they unshackle themselves from the slave planet stage. Eventually, the planet is able to blossom without having any monetary system at all. Money eventually disappears completely from society, yet the society blossoms. In the first step, resources combined with technology and planetary unity replace money. A resource-based economy replaces a monetary-based economy. Here, technology and sharing replace competition and money. The friction and shortages and waste that monetary systems create are eliminated, and that is why society blossoms. In the second step, which happens many generations after the first step is completed, even technology itself is replaced, and consciousness itself becomes the direct source of abundance without the need for technology. The human evolve to a point where they are in alliance with matter, and can directly manipulate matter as needed, without the aid of technology. And so, dear ones, this is the path we are on. What part shall you play?
Thank you for having watched this video. This video is part of the New Money Revolution video series, which takes you through the consciousness revolution and the monetary revolution we need to undergo to finally enjoy true freedom and abundance, true wealth, both personally as individuals and globally as the united citizens of Earth, in ways that are harmonious and healing to the planet and the environment. This series has 12 videos in total. Please make sure you watch all of them, in the right order. Thank you.
Please share these videos as far and as wide as possible. This is a consciousness revolution. First and foremost, it is a change of mind, and a change of heart. And it only works when the idea spreads far and wide. The more you share these videos, the more this new reality manifests. This is your revolution, and your participation is very important. We need at least 33 million people to watch these videos for them to reach a tipping point. Critical mass. whereby these ideas begin to take a life of their own in the collective consciousness of Earth. So please do share them as much as possible, everywhere you can think of sharing them, and feel free to download your own copy, too, for offline viewing and safekeeping. Thank you.
Please help us translate the subtitles and captions for these videos into other languages. It is very easy to do, using YouTube's community translation page. We have already added the English subtitles and captions to these videos. So all you have to do is type in the translated words and the subtitles and captions, and YouTube will automatically handle all the technical stuff. It is all very easy. Simply translate the words. We have provided the translation link below in the video description. Thank you.
All these videos have been subtitled with closed captions. This makes it easier for you to follow along. To see the subtitles, please click on the CC button on the video. As more people translate these videos, the subtitles will become available in multiple languages.
To complement these videos and launch you into rapid success and a deeper understanding of the New Earth consciousness, we also have the following free, illustrated, multimedia PDFs for you. To download yours free, simply click on the Download Now Free button, and you will have instant access to them.
And if you wish to master these concepts in a fast, easy and entertaining yet enlightening way, have a look at our courses. We have 38 courses and growing, some of which are free, and some of which come with a free trial. They literally are mind-blowing, yet effective and practically useful in your life today. To start your free trial, simply click on the free trial button, and you will have instant access to them.
If you haven't watched the rest of the videos in this series, please go ahead now, and remember to share them. Thank you very much for your time, and we wish you a very great day.